Hello, this podcast isn't for kids. As you can probably tell from our little intro song there, this podcast is where four friends get together and we try to amaze each other with astounding facts about our universe or how we found out those things about our universe. Enough that someone else on the podcast will say, Holy fucking science! Hey everybody, how are you doing? How are you doing, Ceri? We were joined by Ceri Riley. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I think I might have a touch of the con flu, or my voice is just dying, so one or the other.
I had a cough all throughout VidCon, and now I feel very run down. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that is just because I did not sleep very much for the last week, or if it's because I'm sick. But I also, I've been sleeping for 9 or 10 hours a night. I'm just, there's something's happening.
Something's
I guess we should mention that we're recording this the week after VidCon.
Yeah, I don't know when it's going to go live.
But
a couple weeks.
I feel great.
Yeah.
Nice. Stay away from me.
How was, you survived VidCon without any ill effects?
Yeah.
Good.
Say who you are.
Oh, I'm Stefan Chin. I'm a producer on SciShow.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't introduce you.
Food truck quesadilla did a little bit of damage, but
I see. Yes,
but I've recovered.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't know what did it to me, but I also had some similar damage during VidCon. I think it was probably one too many Cliff Bars. You can't just eat Cliff Bars, turns out.
Yeah. Also broccoli. Can't just eat broccoli.
Stefan's learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
I learned that with cashews once. I was like, cashews, they're good for you.
What do cashews do?
You poo cashew butter.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Is it crunchy or creamy? Though?
Crunchy.
Oh, not
and
as
light
good.
in color.
Yeah.
Weird.
I was like, wow, that looks like a bunch of cashews.
That's kind of disgusting.
Sorry, everyone.
How are you
doing? Welcome to Holy Fucking Science. It's our new. So, how are your poops, Caitlin?
They're pretty good. They took a hit at VidCon as well. Too many donuts. Yeah. Too many weird
the donuts.
Foods. I steered clear of the donuts, but I had a lot of breakfast burritos, and I think that was not great on my stomach. Mm-hmm. And then eating all the food at Disneyland was awesome, but also not great for my stomach.
Yeah,
or my wallet.
Yeah. I went to a place at Disneyland. I got a $19 meal, and it was I walked up to a food bar and I was like, will you have the chicken or the beef? And I was like, I'll have the chicken. And it was
at a wedding in the 90s.
A whole half of fried chicken, a biscuit, mashed potatoes and gravy, and greasy green beans. It was all really good, but I'm like, what do you think is happening right now?
Yeah. I'm going to go ride a ride now.
Yeah, I wasn't running all day.
Yeah.
I've been at Disney. I walked some.
Yeah.
And now I definitely am not going on the teacups.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But it was good fried chicken. I love fried chicken. Yeah. I don't know, what were we talking about? It's Holy Fucking Science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poop and fried chicken.
Poop and fried chicken.
Today, because it is summer, and also, I assume because we have a SciShow beach towel for sale. This podcast brought to you by SciShow Beach Towels and also Big Sky Brewing, who has provided our beer for us.
Which comes in a can, so you can drink it on the river.
You can't drink. Beach. I was like, why can't I drink bottles? No bottles on the river.
Can't take glass to the river in Montana.
No, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about summer. Because that's where we are now. It's actually quite warm out, and has been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been regretting my choice of outfit all day long, which is a hoodie and jeans.
You look bright and festive, though.
Thank you.
It's summery.
I feel comfy now. So science related to summer. Whose idea was this? Was this your idea?
Oh, totally. Really broad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like, I got a topic. How can I wedge this in? Do you have a topic?
I do have a topic that's not really that related to summer.
I feel like we all kind of came in with not the super summary.
No, I kind of like having a broad thing that people break the rules on a little bit.
Okay,
I think it's more
so
fun.
none of us are actually going to talk about summer.
No.
But that's
I'm just going to summarize things.
Nice.
Instead, it's just going to be 100% summaries.
Ensure that we don't overlap if we have broader topics.
Yeah,
I feel like that's okay.
Happen.
Yeah, unless we all did the same thing.
That would be. I'm waiting for it to occur, but it has not yet occurred, and I'll just be like, and I'm going to change my topic halfway through.
I usually have a backup. but I don't know very much about it.
Right.
So I'm like
Yeah.
ready to
Right.
bullshit on a
Good for
topic.
you.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's how I am with my main topic.
Panic. Yeah.
The thing that I'm always scared of is that I'm going to say it and then Hank's going to be like, nah, that's bullshit. I'm like, well, let me finish saying it and then you can tell me.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad my little voices in your head to make
Yeah.
sure that you fact your
I
checks.
fact them.
Fact all those checks.
Yeah.
That's what I do for SciShow all the time.
Yeah, thanks for facting our checks.
Yeah, all the time.
I'll do.
All day, every day.
Hopefully none of your checks are fake because so far
The bank keeps cashing them.
Thanks,
We're
okay,
fooling them.
Good news.
Yeah.
So, person we're gonna have go first is the person who got a sunburn the most recently.
Oh.
I mean, Disneyland.
Oh
Like
yeah,
a
that
serious
recent.
sunburn? Yeah, I feel like I
I
burned
mean,
a
I
little bit.
didn't use sunscreen.
Anytime
so-
you were
and it
uncomfortable,
was
you don't have to
12
have
hours.
blisters. But Stefan got a sunburn
Yeah.
at.
No blisters, but it was definitely burned.
Okay.
I feel like I was uncomfortable during the March for Science, so
The March for Science was
birthday.
my last sunburn too.
yeah,
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
yeah, because then I started layering it on a lot. yeah,
Because I realized.
Yeah.
Yeah, summer is here.
yeah.
I'm more recent than that. I think the beginning of this month, probably, we had our accountability brunch at your house.
Oh,
Got sunburn? Oh.
Yeah, because I was
You're
sitting,
outside.
only one arm of mine was in the sun. And so I got this like very weird, very awkward sunburn just on one forearm.
Okay.
And I was like, man, that sucks.
Well, you probably got all your vitamin D, though.
Yeah, just from that one
that one
patch,
arm.
all those cells were
Yeah.
synthesizing, but everything else wasn't.
Summarizing and synthesizing.
All right, Stefan. Well,
I
looks
guess I'm
like you're
going
first.
Right.
Okay. How many of you guys have allergies or are experiencing allergies this season?
I
This
have
is
allergies.
apparently a pretty bad allergy season for Montana. But strangely, I normally have allergies every spring and like summer, but like this year I've not had anything, but everyone else is like, oh, it's so bad
weird.
this year. So whatever you guys are allergic to, I'm like
You're
the
immune.
opposite stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. But when, so you guys are having allergies right now.
I'll have to fess up. I have mold allergies.
You have
so
mold
like whenever I go to
allergies, okay.
Florida or anywhere humid, I'm just destroyed. But in Montana, I have very few allergy problems.
So you're okay right now.
I'm fine right now. But Catherine is destroyed. Like her eyes are like itchy, swollen.
What season were you born in?
I was born in May season.
But so is Catherine.
Yes. What's May?
Spring.
Spring.
Is that the spring?
That's spring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sari.
I was also born in May.
Got two spring babies.
I was born in April. In spring.
more
That's also spring.
Spring.
I was March, so also
Oh,
spring.
spring.
Oh,
Yes!
this
That's
we're gonna
interesting.
have really representative
That's
data here.
interesting. Okay, wow. So
Tuna's behind the camera.
There-
He was also born in spring, I happen to know.
Oh my god.
So, yeah.
oh,
Well,
wow.
apparently that's how you get a job
Actually-
at SciShow.
Yeah.
it's kind of true. There's a lot of like there's a whole run of birthdays in the like March, April months.
It's weird.
But anyways, there was a study, or I guess for a long time, people have felt like that if you're born in spring or summer, it's less likely that you'll be susceptible to allergies. And then if you're born in the autumn or winter, it's more likely. And the theories.
You mean like pollen allergies?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like asthma, like eczema even,
Okay.
pollen and like dust
Not like
mites.
allergic to like a food.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly, yeah. And so they sort of thought that this was like maybe seasonal like variations in sunlight, like because of vitamin D, or just variations in like when you're exposed to all these different allergens. They thought it might be like when you get your first chest infection, because colds happen more in the winter, so maybe happening earlier affected things. Or that this one I thought was kind of funny, but I don't know, that like seasonal variation in availability and price of fruits and vegetables. So like based on like the mother's, like affecting the mother's diet and that affecting allergy susceptibility. But this study was trying to figure out if there were epigenetic
Okay.
associations. And so basically epigenetics, markers attached to DNA that influence how your genes are expressing themselves, which change in response to the environment.
And can be passed down from generation to generation to some extent,
Yeah.
but are not they're not genes, they're just controlling
Right.
how your genes are expressed.
Right. And so they were looking at DNA methylation, which is one type of marker, on 367 people, and found that the season of birth leaves an epigenetic print that you can see at least up until age 18. But it's not there at birth. So it's something that gets developed after birth.
In the beginning months or year of that first.
Well, so they
So it could go back to the first cold
367. Oh,
So it could go back to the first cold
yeah,
thing,
maybe.
maybe.
So
Yeah.
it could be some of these other factors that they thought about, but this particular study was looking at epigenetics. The 367 people were all 18-year-olds,
Right.
and they compared those to, I guess they had another group of 8-year-olds, and both of those groups had similar markers.
Right.
Okay.
But they had a group of newborns that didn't have those markers.
Cool.
And they narrowed it down to basically 2 of the methylation differences that seem to be influencing risk of allergy. They said marginally on the causal pathway to allergy, whatever that.
Gotta hedge your bets in
Maybe,
science.
Yeah, you gotta hedge a little bit.
Maybe.
And
Great. Can I be
that's a
that
good phrase. Oh, you want to be marginally on the.
on the causal pathway? I might matter. I'm marginally on the causal pathway.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Thanks. I appreciate that. You too, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Let's hold hands. And I guess other studies have shown that the season you're born in is associated with like differences in height, lifespan, reproductive performance, risk of heart conditions, schizophrenia.
Yeah.
What? Are
So-
you going to start reading us our horoscopes?
Yeah,
Like,
right?
Well, that's sort of what this made me think of a little bit. I was like, oh yeah, like
So it does matter if I was born
it's
in...
not the epigenetic markers, it's the
Mercury
moon or
rising.
Mercury or you know.
There it is. You've ruined science. It just happened.
Heard it here first.
Science is now right out.
Holy fucking science.
Holy fucking
Horoscopes.
astronomy.
Astrology.
Yeah, thanks. I can't even say the word.
I refuse.
It's all about astronomy. I guess that's all I had about that stuff. But it made me think of astrology. It made me also think of the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Because he talks about like people who are born in January
Right.
in Canada are, or professional hockey players are more likely to be born in January because then
Because they have a leg up at the
Yeah.
very beginning of their
yeah.
career. Yeah.
Of their career
Yeah.
when they're five.
When they're 5. Yeah. They're
But,
like
like-
slightly bigger.
Yeah,
And,
but
like,
that makes a big
more
difference
aggressive. Yeah.
at that age.
Yeah. It's like Ceri did you write this episode of SciShow, The Left-Handed Fencers?
Oh, yeah.
I edited it.
Yeah,
Or
there's
read
like
it.
you have a slight advantage at the beginning, and so you go further.
Right. But then as you sort of get to this, like, in the mid-level, there's a definite, very clear, but like the best hockey players and the best fencers, it evens out,
Yeah,
which is interesting.
yeah.
Doesn't matter so much. It's all the like all the mid-level hockey players are like, it turns out I was just born in the right month.
Yep.
and worked very hard.
Oh,
to be
yeah,
clear.
definitely.
But like that idea that like talent being recognized in you matters almost as much as the talent actually existing. It's really interesting.
That's why I think I'm smart.
Right.
My parents were like,
You're
well,
smart.
Well, you're smart. And I
You
was
look
like,
like a smart person.
Yeah.
I credit like 25% of my intelligence at least to the fact that I wear glasses.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that like I wear glasses,
Yeah.
so I'm supposed to be the smart kid.
Yeah.
I think I always wanted glasses as a kid so I could be the smart kid.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not smart until I have glasses. But then I never got glasses. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Are you still 20/20?
Yeah, pretty close to that, I think. Like,
You'll
I have
never
pretty
be
good
smart.
Yeah.
After all this time.
So much for that MIT degree.
Yeah,
Never got glasses.
I just can't do it.
There's like fine print at the bottom of your degree.
No
Graduated, but no glasses.
glasses.
so
Still 2020.
It should be.
watch
Very
out.
dumb.
Yeah. Still, yeah. pending glasses.
Yeah.
Asterisk.
It's like all but dissertation, all but glasses.
You just want to put mine on and see if you look smarter.
When I worked in a bookstore, when I would recommend books to
These, like,
people.
the world is
Oh,
very
you do
blue.
You
look
look great.
smarter.
You look great.
Oh,
Thanks.
look how smart.
Wow, so
now
smart.
I
Look,
respect
and-
you so much more now.
Oh,
Sarah.
You do
thanks.
not.
Can't
You look,
even see
In
it.
all honesty, I have no idea what you look like.
That blurry
but
blob,
don't
you
trust
know?
him. He looks dumb without his glasses. So.
Yeah. Do I look less smart now?
Oh, no.
Kinda.
Yeah, less smart.
More average.
Oh, no one's ever said that about me. And then I put them back on, and then I stop being handsome.
Hair gets curlier and you start wearing overalls.
Yeah, wear like
Actually-
in pigtails, like the ugly girl in all the
exactly.
sitcoms. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like my profile is better with glasses.
No, I mean, there have been studies done. People tend to rate faces as more attractive when they're wearing glasses.
Interesting.
And that's not true for every face, but
Yeah.
on average,
Yeah.
over all
Wow.
faces, it's true. And
Yeah.
I think
I
it's a
don't
little bit because like everyone, like most people are below average, or half people at least. And then it just sort of like gives you something else to sort of focus on.
Yeah. Well, and you can
And
judge
it,
like.
I feel like it adds symmetry to your face. Like my
Sure.
glasses
Yes.
are symmetrical, even if my
Yeah.
eyes aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be too symmetrical though.
Well, I don't
Maybe.
have that
I don't
problem. Yeah.
Cool.
I got this tooth and this tooth.
Ooh.
Yeah. They were like, we can fix that. And I was like, I'm so tired of braces right now. Never talk to me again. Go away, and I do not want your retainer. I will have these crooked teeth, and it will be all right.
It's okay. I have glasses. They
It's
won't
okay.
make my face symmetrical.
Exactly. I don't need those. I'm attractive because of my glasses.
Yeah.
All right. Next sunburn was Ceri.
Yeah, early June.
Okay. This is very tangentially summer related.
Perfect.
But Caitlin in her email wrote something about summer love or reproduction.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I was
so
really just trying to get us all to like sing the
Sing
Grease.
summer love. Yeah. we're just-
Summer love
Yeah.
happens so fast.
No, I'm too shy.
Nope,
to
there's
pick
a-
it.
No, I don't sing.
I don't really.
Nobody? Nobody's going to duet with me, Tuna?
Sorry.
I can't remember the next line.
That's fine. Had me a blast.
Oh, yeah.
It's all that. Yeah,
it.
it's okay.
That's the rhyme.
I'm just gonna go do karaoke by myself tonight, and just do the
Oh, it is
duet.
Wednesday.
But
It
only
is
sing,
Wednesday.
only sing half of it, and then just everybody can just cry.
Yeah.
Just like
you were
all the
gonna
podcast
sing.
listeners at home are
Back
crying.
Yeah.
to you, the
I
other
bet Reed
lines.
Reimers will hop in there and,
Reed-
and sing
No,
with you.
I'm not gonna let him.
Oh.
You just
No.
have to do both sides by
And
yourself.
I'll just sing it really sad. I'll be like, "Can you slow it down 50%?"
Yeah. And then you can like lower your voice.
Summer lovin' had me a blast, and it's kind of a sad song. It's all
Yeah.
ends at the end.
Yeah.
So
Everything ends. Summer ends.
everything ends.
dies.
Someday, where there will be no humans left to
Yeah.
remember Greece was even here.
Fucking science.
But in the spirit of summer lovin', birds lay eggs.
Yes. What do
Not good
bees
at
do?
segues. Yeah. Birds and the bees. That's my transition. And there was a recent paper published this month with another or more expanded theory about why eggs are the shapes that they are. We did a SciShow a little while ago. And
I was
there-
like, I know the answer to this question. And then I was like, why? And then I was like, right, because someone wrote a script for me.
Yep. So we did a SciShow a while ago about a couple of theories, and I think one of them was that they're easier to squeeze out the bird's oviduct. I don't know how to pronounce
whatever.
it. Egg tube.
Yeah.
Cloaca.
And then the other was that they are like oblong, so that on cliffs they like roll around in a circle
rather than
instead.
rolling in a
Yes.
direction.
That's pretty good.
And this
Yeah.
paper argues that it is neither of those adaptations.
But can it be all three?
It could probably be all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those like
Yeah.
down the causal pathway. Probably, maybe
Marginally.
marginally. But what they did is they took 50,000 egg images from 1,400 species and did a whole analysis of them
Wow.
based on how elliptical they are versus spherical and how asymmetrical they are versus symmetrical.
Can I just say I'm really sad that they didn't do it from 144 species?
Yeah, why do they have to just two? Was it 4 more species?
Yeah,
And
to
they
have a
could've got
gross.
full gross.
Yeah, that's how you measure eggs.
That's how you measure eggs. A dozen eggs.
Yeah.
Wait, did I say 140? It's 1,400.
Oh, okay.
You may have said that. We've had a half a beer already.
Oh man, everyone's drunk.
We're all very
And I'm
sunburned,
like
so
in a sick fog. So
Sick fog, bro.
1,400. Okay, that's awesome.
1,400. Yeah,
Okay.
many
Wait,
more species.
So how oblong and how symmetrical they are? What is the difference between those two things? Like, how is an egg unsymmetrical?
So like one side is chunky, one side is tapered.
And what's the difference between oblong and that?
Elliptical is sphere versus ellipse.
Ellipse.
So
Okay.
like
So both of
golf
those.
ball versus pill is one axis of the graph.
Right.
And then cone versus
Sphere.
sphere
Yeah.
is
Cool.
the other side of the graph.
Okay. I'm there.
Okay. Good.
Cool.
I had to look this up too because I couldn't get it from the article. And what they found is that the one variable that most correlated with egg shape was their flying ability.
What?
And their flying ability as measured by, I think, wingspan, and the something to do with like the wingtip relative to the bones inside it. Like
Oh, so it's not like. Sorry, go ahead.
predicted their flying ability. So like faster and better and everything flyers had more asymmetric and elliptical eggs.
So it's almost like the bird is like, I need an aerodynamic egg because I fly a lot.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
I need the if I drop the egg, it should be able to shoot through the air just like me.
Just like as I'm flying, I'm gonna lay an egg and it goes pew and it flings down.
It's on the individual level. It's not like ostriches and penguins have really round eggs and whatever flies really well has like line eggs.
Yeah.
Like it's on the individual bird.
It is on the individual bird. So like
Cool.
comparing
The individual or the individual species?
species, not
Okay.
not
Oh,
individual.
okay, cool,
Sorry.
cool. Okay.
Got it.
I don't know.
So penguins do have like sad non.
Well,
Yeah.
penguins they
We're not
said
part of the study.
fly underwater, so it has to do with like muscle and wing.
Okay,
shape.
sure.
So penguins
Yeah.
exception to the flying rule.
Okay. What is an ostrich egg like? They're pretty round, I guess.
I don't know. I think ostrich eggs are pretty round. Their wings are also like stubbier.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, you can't put ostriches in this thing because, like, it's a whole other. That's
Yeah,
a whole
it's a
other
whole-
bag.
There's
it's
like
a-
a
that's
monster.
That's probably going to be an outlier. I probably wouldn't put ostriches
Malcolm
or
Gladwell.
emus in there anyway.
Outliers too.
Yeah, more outliers.
Put ostriches in there.
yeah,
on the graph.
so is it like just like they want to have a more aerodynamic body shape, so it's
Yeah.
better to have an aerodynamic lump inside of you when you're
connected.
flying around?
So their argument is that it is not a evolutionary advantage. So a lot of the theories that have, or a lot of the hypotheses that have been proposed are that eggs are a certain shape to serve a purpose, like not rolling around or making so that there are more eggs like fit together, or they can be heated more efficiently, or they can gas transfer more efficiently. And this study is arguing that it is just a consequence of their body shape. So
Neat.
eggs didn't evolve to be certain shapes for any reason. It was just like, my body is going to be really optimized for flying, and that means it's going to get squished inside me
Right.
while I'm laying an egg.
But also maybe birds who had a body shape that created more round eggs, those eggs rolled off the nest or whatever more
Yeah.
frequently.
Well-
and so I don't know.
They studied the cliff thing.
Classic chicken.
And
Yeah.
cliff nesting birds, like they did a whole bunch of variables. They looked at like body mass and egg numbers in a clutch and their diet and where they nested and climate and like everything about them. And they they found that cliff nesting birds don't have pointier than average eggs in general, which would support the hypothesis that like things fall off the cliffs
Yeah.
or not.
I mean, it is like it's important to recognize. We're always like, what's the evolutionary reason for this? And sometimes it's just like, it's just the
Yeah.
way it worked. Like it just worked better that way. Or it's just
Or
the
just
thing that
happened.
happened.
Yeah.
Because like eggs, like happening inside of a bird, it's not necessarily like it's kind of hard to imagine how eggs happen exactly. Because I've done a little bit of reading on this, especially with regards to how double eggs happen. So like when an egg forms around an egg inside of a chicken, it's just like it goes
Freaky.
back to the area where eggs happen, and then the egg thing happens again,
Huh.
and then it comes out, and then the chicken often does not do well
Yeah.
as it lays this double egg.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
But I once was over at Heather and Dave's, and they had this massive egg, and they were like, "We waited for you to come over before we opened it."
They're the coolest. I love
yeah,
them.
and we cracked it open, and like we thought it was going to be like a double or triple yolk, and it was just another fucking egg in the egg.
Like,
That's so
was the
cool.
shell hard
Yeah,
and everything?
no, it was like a hard, like a normal chicken egg surrounded by like a bunch of like gooey
my
goo,
gosh.
and then another chicken egg around that.
So it's like an egg. In total, there's like double whites.
You double
and
whites
single yolk.
and single yolk.
Exception.
That sounds
Oh.
kind of delicious.
I mean, I don't know if we ate it. I'd be
could
interesting
you
to like
not?
hard boil that.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like crack it open, eat the white, and then crack it open and eat the egg.
Second. Yeah. I did read about how eggs are formed. I don't know how accurate this is, but it's like the little egg is added to the yolk, and then it's fertilized by the sperm.
What is the little egg?
I
Like
think
what
it's like
the-
the
what
egg
the hen
released by
makes.
the ovum.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, the egg released by the ovum, egg cell, single cell, is added to the yolk, and then it's fertilized by the sperm.
Okay.
And then the white coalesces around it and a membrane.
Where
And then a second membrane.
does the yolk come from? Is there just
Yeah.
one hanging out all the time, and then
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Or is that- do they-
It's just there's,
Do-
I don't know if there's like a special organ inside of birds that makes the yolk or what, because it's not like
or like once a
like
month?
the way that
they-
mammals have like produce milk instead of that. There's like a yolk producing organ or
Yeah.
something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I didn't look that far into it.
Yeah. I also had never. I had
never
always
thought about
thought
eggs.
that the ovum, like the egg cell, was the yolk. Like that those two things were the same thing.
I'm pretty sure
too.
that is, from my understanding, and this one article,
yeah.
that is not the case. But I might be
Because I
wrong.
also got this, like I had heard, like what's the largest cell? And it's like an ostrich egg. So people had told me that fact before.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's possible that I have misunderstood in
It's
my
fine.
10
Where do
minute
eggs yolks
brain.
come from, Google?
Where do egg
But it's
yolks-
also like it's interesting to
Good.
talk about eggs too in terms of birds because other animals lay eggs and they're mostly all round, right? Like fish
Oh, yeah,
eggs
yeah,
and
yeah.
lizards and so it's cool that it would have to do with just like the ability to fly
Yeah.
and how you move your body and how your body is shaped would form your egg shape.
Weird.
Is the egg yolk the ovum?
I'm having a hard time. It's not immediately obvious from the Wikipedia page on egg yolks. There's a lot of information.
They're like it is delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The nutrient-bearing portion of the egg, whose primary function is to supply food for the embryo. So it's not the embryo. It's the food for the embryo.
Yeah.
Some kinds of egg contain no yolk, for example, because they are laid in situations where the food supply is not adequate.
But maybe an ostrich egg would still be just a cell. If it's unfertilized, it'd be only one cell.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like we're gonna have to come back next week.
Yeah,
And figure out, where
making
where the cell
babies
is.
on holy
Yeah.
fucking science.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
Wikipedia page does not have enough information for me, but that's okay.
But that's all I have pretty much. Oh, if you dissolve the shell of an egg, the membrane stays the same. And so that's what they argue is like important about the egg coming out is that whatever shape the membrane forms is what the egg shape is going to be.
Okay.
And that's why when it's being squished through a bird's body and like the membranes are forming and everything, that's what determines the egg
Right.
shape.
Right.
More
Right. So
than-
it's physically formed,
Yes,
not
it's-
genetically formed.
Yeah. It's physically being squished around inside there.
It's funny that we came to that conclusion second. After like the chicken and the egg thing, we thought about the egg and how they evolved instead of like how birds are
How
shaped.
birds practically make
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we never really thought about it. We're just like, oh, egg popped out of bird. Good.
Yeah.
And then our instinct is, like you were saying, to look at it and be like, why is this useful as it
Yeah.
is?
Right. And I'm often like in practical engineering situations surprised when I discover that something is the way it is, not because that's the best way, it is because that's the easiest way to make it. And I don't have a good example of that right now. But I'll be like, what? Like, why did they do it that way? And then I'll like watch the how it's made on it, and it's like, oh, because they needed a thing to hold on to while it went into this other thing or whatever. Because I'm always watching how it's made in SD on YouTube. Because they're like, don't watch it on. We can only upload it in SD, and I'm like, I hate you so much. I'm not gonna like open up Discovery at the time of day. But I don't even have cable. I want to watch how it's made in HD. Dang it. Why is there no HD how it's made on YouTube? How much? Why isn't that a YouTube Red series?
Right? Yeah,
I
was just going to say.
Anyway.
Okay.
That's my.
Good.
Does anybody want to make a how it's made? For.
Yeah, totally. We
for
could like
bird eggs?
travel and stuff.
No,
I
let's
would
just
that.
do like only things that are made in Missoula.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. I'm okay with that too.
What industries do we?
We have
got
beer and
beer,
alcohol.
other alcohol.
Flies for fly fishing.
I think that there is a
That would be
there's a
really-
company in this town. I think that I'm not making this up. That makes dental picks.
Ooh.
And I'm like,
Bacon.
you can
too.
have a whole company that makes dental picks, I guess. And we have
There-
a bacon place that
yeah.
makes bacon.
There's a place that makes like nutritional supplements.
Yep, that
Yep.
place. Yep, on
There's a place that makes
3rd Street.
Street.
meat bars.
And
Yeah, there's a meat.
and there's a culvert
thing.
manufacturing place that makes those like corrugated culverts,
That's cool.
those pipes that go under the road.
Huh.
Yeah. That's all they do all day long. It's just culverts all day. It's good.
Fun.
Good business. Anyway,
Wild time.
Holy fucking Missoula.
I feel like you got to the March for Science before I did. So you probably got your sunburn before I did. Because I think you were there
No.
when I arrived. No?
Because I texted you and I was like, "Where are you?"
Oh, okay,
And you
I'll
were
go
like, "I'm
first
up
then.
on the thing." Yeah.
All right, I got my
Oh, but-
sunburn first.
Oh no, I'm scared to go last.
Oh, well, you go.
Okay.
You go first then. Maybe
I feel
I
like-
stayed in the shade for longer
Yeah, I feel like I got sunburned on the way there.
than you. Okay.
So, because mine is not deep science by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, neither is mine.
Okay, good. But so I want to talk about the sun because that's a big deal in the summertime. And I also think that
It's also, to be clear, a big deal in the winter time.
it's a big deal all the time.
winter without sun is a bad scene.
So when do you not get to see the sun?
In Alaska.
August 21st, 2017.
Solar eclipse.
Oh, or the
Solar eclipse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or in Alaska in the
Or, yeah.
wintertime. And so I wanted to research the eclipse, and they say not to look at the eclipse when it happens. And I'm always like, that's kind of dumb because I look at the sun all the time and
Yeah,
nothing
just sort of
bad ever
glance at it.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the reason that you shouldn't look at the sun, obviously, is because it will blind you.
Yeah.
But when you look at a bright light, you will like
Squint.
blink, or your pupils will block down. Your irises will
And
protect
also,
you.
you like figure out like I did that for a second and I need to look away.
Yeah, totally. It's painful. But during an eclipse, it's not painful and not uncomfortable. And so the danger is that you could look at it for too long, and it's not painful to burn your retinas. So you could just burn them because you're like, pretty.
Why? So is it not? So here's my guess.
Yeah.
As to why it's not painful to burn your retinas, because they're too busy with too many nerves to like see the world, which I imagine requires a great deal of nerve density. So they're like not enough space to also have pain neurons.
That's what I think. I think you're right. I'm not totally sure. That's not what I want to talk
Right.
about. But
my
but-
guess is that like no one actually knows. But
yeah, and there are like built in, like they close down, you blink or close your eyes. There are lots of ways to protect your eyes.
But do you know that feeling when you like look at a black light? This is probably just gonna be me, where it's like it's not bright, but it kind of feels bright.
Yeah, like on a gray day, like you're
Yeah.
squinting because it's just, like
Right.
Yeah.
Because black lights put out a lot of UV light, obviously, which is why they're so dope for all of your drug tripping experiences, whatever they may be. Woo. It's a psychedelic.
Wow.
And so they're putting out all this UV light that you can't see, but it's very bright. Mm-hmm. And so it does contain a lot of energy. And when I look at a black light direct on, I'm like, like the back of my eyes hurt.
Yeah, so people who have damaged their retinas from looking at the sun or other bright lights have either been looking at an eclipse and they're not sensing that it's really bright and burning their retinas, or they're really high and they don't know, and so they're not responding to stimuli like they normally would. Or like in 1988, 66 people had, and when you burn your retinas, it's called solar retinopathy, and 66 people in 1988 in Italy stared at the sun for a long time. And
as a group?
And laughed.
Yeah.
This seems really funny. Let's all stare at the sun together, friends.
Yeah. Well, and so, but so 1988, we knew not to stare at the sun, you know, but in previous, before we knew not to stare at the sun, before we had like special goggles to watch eclipse, and before we even really knew what was going on with eclipses, people would stare at the sun and damage their eyes. In 1610, Thomas Harriot looked directly at an eclipse, but didn't talk about it, didn't record. He just talked about the eclipse. And then, but 2 years later, he talked about how after viewing the sun, his sight was dim for an hour. He had like damaged his retinas, and it took a while to recover. And then Oxford astronomer John Greaves saw that he could see after images after staring at the sun for a long time, and it looked like a flock of crows in his vision, like he had like burned out little receptors. And my favorite like scientific idiot is Sir Isaac Newton, who not only has stabbed himself in the back of the eye to like study colors and color reception, but he looked at the sun in a mirror and blinded himself for 3 days. He looked at an eclipse in a mirror, thinking that would make it safer. and he couldn't see for 3 days, and then for months had the after image.
Oh my God.
Like negative image going on.
That's so weird. I mean, smart dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
But like, at what point are you like, I'm going blind, I should stop? Apparently not until after you're blind.
You don't really realize it when it's happening, I think.
Right,
is the
because
thing with an eclipse.
Yeah, because it's bright enough that you're still seeing it, but then you look away and you're like, oh, everything else is very dim.
Yeah.
Suddenly, this whole room, someone turn on the candles.
Yeah.
Is that what they said?
Yep, definitely.
That's how
think so.
Isaac Newton talked. Someone turn on the candles. I can barely see in here. No one talks about Isaac Newton's weird voice and accent. And like during life, he was intolerable. Guys, I've discovered derivatives.
He was like a 1920s like radio announcer. Turn on the candles.
Extra.
Are you serious, or is
No.
this okay? I'm like, I don't think I've never heard about that.
But Stefan, I am serious about Sir Isaac Newton. In 2016, many papers were discovered written by him on him trying to make the Philosopher's Stone. So very smart guy. Like also just threw a lot of shit at the wall and saw it stuck. You know, and he was just trying all kinds of stuff.
My favorite weird one. I was reading about Galileo, and like amazing dude, right?
Yeah.
Figured it all out. Figured out so much stuff about how the universe works. He thought that tides were the ocean sloshing around as we moved around the sun.
I feel like that's fair.
He was like, the Earth moves around the sun. That makes so much sense because the ocean is always sloshing around.
Yeah. So I was.
But like the idea that like the moon is up there just like yanking on it, that's real weird.
That is weird. Yeah.
But pretty directly observable if you look.
Yeah. There was an eclipse I was reading a thing. A lot of eclipses have happened on August 21st. But some of them with the Julian calendar.
Okay.
And so Galileo
Right.
actually observed one during the Julian calendar and kept track of it that way. And then somebody else observed it with the Gregorian calendar, the same eclipse. And they weren't sure who saw it first and who wrote about it first. And then like they translated it, and like Galileo beat the other guy by like a few hours or something like that. And so
That's crazy.
funny, yeah.
It's so weird to think that like John recently said to me, we need a new calendar. And I was like to sell? And he was like, no. Humans need a new calendar. We should have it. So instead of having all these days that like
And
the
leap
month has
seconds.
like that like some years have an extra day, and some months are 30 days, and some are 28, and some are 30, and that's just super messed up. Every month should have the same number of days, and at the end of the year, we just has a bunch of monthless days where nobody works, everybody just fucks off, and like you can't go to the store, and you just have to spend time with people that are like doing whatever it is you do, and like it's just a universal worldwide holiday that we all celebrate, and it's called like Happy Hug Day or whatever. And I was like, it is so remarkable that we all got on the same calendar at all.
Yeah.
Do not fuck this up for us. Like, don't start a new one that like some people are going to adopt.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
pretty
And
sure
it'll take
that
months.
calendar existed, though. I feel like I was looking into the history of calendars recently, and that's like...
the Roman calendar started out that way. At the end of the
Yeah.
year, during the winter, it would just be sort of like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they like had an equal number of
Yeah.
days per month, and then they had extra days at the end of the year. They were just
like,
like,
"What?"
holiday.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Yeah.
just wait for the new year to begin. This is timeless space where we
Yeah.
all just gotta enjoy each other's company.
No one's taxing anything right now.
doesn't
I like it.
Looting.
I like it. Yeah, the purge. No laws.
Yeah, that's good. It's
fun.
the 6 days of just stab whoever you want. Isaac Newton.
Isaac Newton.
Yeah.
Never mind.
He just stabs himself
He's
in
a
the
huge,
eye.
yeah. I know. Isaac's like, I want to stab myself. I'm curious about how color perception works.
So August 21st, 2017, don't look at the eclipse or look at it through a mirror. Use like a pinhole thing. Don't trust your regular sunglasses. You probably will not go blind, but
You
it'll
gotta
be
urge
hard
yourself.
to see. Yeah.
Do you go blind because your like rods and cones get destroyed, or do you go blind because your optic nerve gets damaged?
So it's the article that I read said that it's the retina like floods with it's not like it gets exhausted. Like it's not like when you're like staring at yellow and then you look away and you see the opposite of yellow. It's that it. I don't want to anthropomorphize it, but it's like it realizes it and it like shuts down, like and stops using it.
It's like a protection.
Yeah, like it like overstimulates and then releases too much communication chemicals. Basically, like it's taking in too much information, but your pupil's not dilating to. Is dilating getting smaller or getting bigger?
Yeah,
Dilating is bigger.
Yeah, so your pupil
Constricting?
isn't constricting. And so it's like overstimulated, and then it just is like
Turns off.
turns off. Yeah.
But it comes back. How long do you have to look at the sun for it to go away completely?
Well, it damages it in a couple seconds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Starts-
probably
the
not
damage starts
too
to-
long.
So you're saying
Yeah.
I can look at the eclipse for a couple
For one
seconds?
second.
Yes. Well, no, like don't do it. But you can look at
But
it.
you're saying I can't.
You can do whatever you want, Hank. But
Isaac Newton
probably
did it.
don't do it. Yeah. And it took months for his vision to come back completely. And oh,
Yeah.
what were you just saying? Sorry, I just lost my.
I don't even remember.
How
what was I
long
saying?
Can you look at it?
Oh, yeah. And with a mirror.
Oh, of course. Because
Yeah.
that's the exact same thing.
I feel
just
like-
to
Yeah.
be clear. Unless the mirror
I feel like
happens
the mirror
to,
is a
like,
good idea.
Not
For the
reflect-
1600s, that's a good idea.
It's like, I heard this story about Medusa, and it totally didn't do anything when he was using a mirror.
Maybe
so.
that's what he was trying to do. He thought the sun was Medusa.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe, I don't know. Is it, maybe he's like a tinted mirror. I don't know if tinted mirrors worked, or like some silver that
yeah.
hadn't been polished.
Right.
Thought that
Right,
that
his
was a good
mirror
idea.
probably wasn't like.
Right, not made
Yeah,
of
it's
glass.
not-
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not high precision manufacturing.
Oh, you
Whoa.
can look at an eclipse during the moment of totality, which will be about 2 minutes long
Oh,
this
Perfect.
year.
When it's
So
actually
if you're on the
totally-
path of
okay.
totality.
Okay. Oh, we have
Then-
to be on the path.
Yeah. Like
Can
if
I be
there's-
marginally
not.
on the path?
No. You're just like through your fingers.
Yeah, just this
I'm
one
almost
side
there.
of it.
Yeah.
I just looked up at the light in the studio. It's very bright. I'm worried about having damaged my retinas. Okay, you guys. So what happens during the summer?
It's hot.
That's right. It
The
gets
days
hotter.
are longer.
And it seems that now things are getting hotter than they once were. So in 2010,
Yeah.
in Russia, they had like a crazy heat wave. and it was hot for a long time, and it was very hot, and they had a ton of bad stuff happen. Like they had forest fires that destroyed a lot of property and killed a lot of people, and it was also just ludicrously hot, and so people were like they were closing their windows to keep the smoke out, but then it was hot in the house because they had their windows closed, and there was no fans left in the country, no air conditioners left in the country, and people like 50,000 people is the estimate of people who died.
Huh.
Oh my God.
But also a
in
bunch
2010 alone.
in 2010 during this heat wave.
Wow.
Of like various causes. Hundreds of them. This isn't science. Right now I'm just telling you interesting things about this heat wave.
Okay.
We'll get to science in a second. Hundreds of them died in the same way. They got drunk and went swimming. Not all at the same time, just over the course of this event. Hundreds of people drowned because they were like, I'm hot and I'm going to drink some vodka and go in the river.
Yeah.
Which is not a good plan unless you have a life preserver or something. Or a friend to help you. Not that I've never been
Still be
drunk in a
careful.
river.
Yeah.
Like that's like the main pastime in Montana.
Yeah.
Summertime. Summertime in Montana.
Summertime.
I haven't gone tubing in a while. I think I missed last year. Oh, I have a baby now. Dang it.
Do they make a crib float?
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Watch out for the rapids!
Maybe it's like a bubble.
Right.
So
every direction.
You can't fall out.
Like
Yeah.
one of the hamster balls.
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
Yeah, just put him in a hamster ball.
Put him in a hamster
Perfect.
ball.
Throw him in the river.
Yeah.
He has all these weird fears later that nobody else sees.
In addition to that weird thing, another super weird thing is that the permafrost, so in places where there's permafrost, oftentimes you bury bodies less deeply because it's just hard to dig through. And it got smushy enough that some grizzly bears started digging up dead people
Ooh, that's fun.
Great.
and
Grave
eating
robbing
them.
pictures. That's pretty funny.
That's kind of fun. That's good. That's good.
I guess people whose relatives were getting eaten by bears
Maybe
are
less
probably
happy.
less happy, but I just think that's a
Badass,
funny image.
though.
Just
Yeah.
like grave robbing bears.
But here's a less funny image.
Okay.
So in the 1890s, there was a major epidemic of smallpox in a town in Russia, and 40% of the people in this town died. The bodies were buried under the upper layer of permafrost.
God.
And in 2010, it got squishy, and the river was also high because that's what happens when it gets hot in places where it snows. And the river started washing away this like what used to be solid permafrost, like icy, chunky stuff. And they found some bodies that had smallpox sores on them. And for everybody who doesn't know, smallpox has been eradicated. It does not exist on Earth anymore. We've stopped vaccinating people for it because it's not a thing. Like, we got it. We did it. We got this. We did this thing. It's amazing. Like, great news. Humans. Woo.
But was the smallpox that was under the permafrost?
They weren't able
dead?
to find any live smallpox.
Okay, good.
But they have found live bacteria in smallpox is a virus, and they found both live bacteria and live viruses that are way older than 120 years, which is how old this graveyard was. And so, like, this like, okay, global warming, bad and everything. Smallpox, also very bad. Didn't think those two things were going to have anything to do with each other.
Yeah.
But they are now like on the lookout for places where people died of smallpox, and maybe there is live smallpox still under the surface of the earth, just hanging out in these dead people. They found smallpox DNA. So like definitely smallpox was present, but not any live virus. So good news, bad news situation. Also, like melting permafrost has a bunch of other bad, like when you build places based on the fact that the ground is made of like solid swamp, which like you can kind of think of permafrost as like a solid swamp. That becomes very bad if the swamp becomes not solid anymore.
Yeah.
So things like railroad tracks have become unusable. They're thinking that in the future, like summertime could mean like buildings starting to tilt and fall over. You also have these. So one of the cool things about permafrost, it being a swamp, basically like a solid swamp, you get vegetation that dies, and then it doesn't really like it doesn't necessarily decompose.
Right, it kind of freezes.
And what sometimes happens, though, is when it kind of unfreezes, freezes, bacteria will start to digest that stuff. And sometimes below the surface, sometimes even when it's cold, they'll do this, they'll digest it and produce methane. And that will create these huge pockets of methane underground. And when this, like basically the cap of frozen swamp gets mushy, these humongous pockets of methane will either explode out or just collapse in like these giant sinkholes of
Suffocation.
Methane.
Isn't that there was that lake that exploded?
Yeah, that lake
was
that
that
exploded.
a methane
that was
explosion?
Was that a methane thing or was it a
I don't
carbon
remember.
dioxide thing?
There's a lake that has bubbles of methane in it.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
You might not have been around for this SciShow script, but it was like a lake where it's like a bunch of like decomposing something happened at the bottom, and then one day there was just an overturning and people died.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like over
Thousands of
1,000 people.
died.
Yeah.
I was not around for this.
Yeah. So similar.
Huh.
But the problem is that they think that there's a huge amount of methane locked up in methane and also maybe a little bit of smallpox locked up in permafrost. And as it gets warmer, that methane gets released, which makes it warmer because methane is a super potent greenhouse gas. So these
So
positive
not
feedback
great.
loops, bad.
Yeah.
Wasn't there also, I thought you were going to talk about there were reindeer under permafrost and anthrax.
So that is a similar situation
Yeah.
that happened, except that it actually killed some people and a
some-
bunch of reindeer.
Yeah.
Reindeer?
Reindeers.
All those reindeer.
Brought to you by
Big Sky Brewery.
Yeah, because like anthrax that has forms little spores, which
Yeah.
are more resilient than smallpox virus.
Yeah, and like this reindeer that died however long ago got
Yeah.
uncovered, and then a bunch of reindeer died
This
of
is how the
anthrax.
zombie apocalypse is going to start
Yeah.
by old diseases and our dead.
I've
Maybe.
had people say that to me, and just to be like, only because I've had people like express the fear that there's this ancient bacteria or virus or something
yeah.
that's going to come get us. Like all of the pathogens that we deal with evolved along with us. And so it's really sort of hard to imagine a pathogen that existed before humans existed that could infect humans.
I was kind of wondering, like, because you said they found DNA, like, can they compare it to, I'm sure they have samples of recent smallpox.
Yeah.
Like, have they compared those? Do they see?
Well,
like,
the thing is that recent smallpox is based on that old smallpox
Yeah.
because there isn't any
I guess
like
only
live
100
evolving
years.
recent smallpox. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they have. I don't. My guess is they haven't. My guess is that there wasn't really enough to do good
Yeah.
science with it. But man,
Yeah, what other diseases?
I love so much living in a world without smallpox, and I just want to keep that
Seems good.
happening
Right,
for as
like-
long
Okay.
as possible.
I was just thinking about how when people ask you, Hank, like if you could live in any time, when you would live, and you're always like, right now,
obviously.
But what if
Yeah.
like smallpox comes back in like 20 years? Then like that Hank is going to be like 20 years ago. Like
Yeah,
when we
no,
didn't have,
absolutely. Like if it
like-
starts getting worse, I will 100% say the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is still getting better, even if
Yeah.
it doesn't always seem that way.
But it's just scary too, because it's like as like climate change warms things up, that's just going to like really speed up if we're
Yeah.
opening like methane pockets and carbon dioxide pockets.
It is concerning. It is. I mean, I think that we'll figure out a way to deal with it, but I'm glad to live in a place that's really, really quite far above sea level. Also,
Yeah.
a cold place that's like, oh, the winters are less bad. I mean, the winters for the last few winters have been like, oh, this is nice. I mean, I know global
Oh, it
warming's
makes me so
I know global warming's
sad.
bad and everything, but man, it's not negative 20. That's good.
Negative 20 and sunny. It's my favorite.
You
My
like
favorite
that?
temperature. Yeah.
I mean, as long as the sun's out, it doesn't
It's
feel
awesome.
it doesn't feel that
Not
cold.
windy?
Until it's like
Perfect.
negative 40, then it
Yeah.
feels cold.
Yeah.
That sounds very unpleasant. I've never been that cold.
I've
You
never
probably
been-
have and you
I've
didn't even
never-
know it. You were just
Or
slightly.
in
it's
a
sunny.
cold enough space, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that I've been negative 40. I think the coldest
With
definitely
wind chill?
is the negative 20. Oh, with wind chill,
Definitely.
definitely.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, that happened since I've been here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was that blizzard one year. I
I
feel
feel
like,
like I got caught in that blizzard. I was like walking home, and it was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, it was like not nice, but now it is like I'm
Awful.
worried for my safety.
yeah.
Like, am I gonna make it home?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm mostly sad that now summer, and every time I go back to California, I'm like, this is too hot. I've now adjusted to Montana temperatures. This is the worst.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I feel that way. I also feel that way every time I go anywhere. I mean, except that it's also too hot in the summer here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. It's like
You know the place that the major metropolitan area in America that is coldest in the summer?
I'm going to guess.
Okay.
San Francisco.
Correct.
oh, that's
Yeah.
I was thinking somewhere on the West Coast
Yeah,
seems about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was
like,
going to guess
interesting.
Seattle or Portland.
I was going to
Yeah.
guess Seattle, yeah. But
But then I was like, San Francisco is always tricky.
it's all yeah. So
Yeah.
you're always there, and you're like, oh, I thought I went to California.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I've definitely bought mini scarves in San Francisco. I'm like,
Every time you get
Yeah.
there, there's just a scarf kiosk right at the airport gate, and they're like, hey, you're gonna want one of these. Wrap them around your legs, around your head and arms. It's foggy and not great.
yeah.
Yeah, San Francisco. It's way colder than Montana, because Montana gets
Kinda gets
hot in the summer.
Yeah.
does it get humid? It
No,
wasn't very
it
humid.
never really gets
yeah.
humid in here ever.
That's good.
Yeah.
I can stand heat. Humidity, I become very grumpy.
Like when it gets
Yeah.
when it gets to like 50% humidity in Montana, I'm like, ooh, wow, ugh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But when I go back to Florida, I'm like, can someone please take me to the indoors now? I can't move my own body. This is the grossest thing I've ever experienced.
You're just like swimming through the air.
Yeah, and I
it's
lived there
not
for
good.
22 years and never had any, I was like, this is
This
normal.
is normal.
Whoa.
Oh, and no longer is it normal. All right, everybody. Oh, there's a bunch of great science facts.
Yeah. Summer.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
You guys we're just getting
We
better
did
and
all
better
right.
at this, I feel like.
Yeah.
All right, thank you all for doing this. It was a good time for researching, bringing it in, working after work, which is nice. I appreciate that. I have been
Getting overtime, right?
I don't know how it works. Talk to Julie. I have been Hank Green,
I am Ceri Riley.
Stefan Chin.
I'm Caitlin Hofmeister.
and this has been
Holy fucking science.